Greetings, fellow city planners. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Manor Lords, Episode 4, Expanding Claims. Alright, at this point, I think I can probably afford a dedicated livestock for the saw pit, too. And now, I'm going to put someone in the clay mining pit. Because once I have the spears that I want, the plan is to get my burgage plot to level 3, which means I need to increase the church, meaning I need stone, planks, and ceramic or clay roof tiles. And then I'm also going to need barley. And I'm working on the barley now, because I have it sown. And then once I harvest the barley, which currently, with our current, the amount that we have sown, we'll get 63 barley during the harvest season here. We can turn that barley into malt at a malt house, and then turn that malt into lovely libations in the tavern. Or in a brewery and then the tavern. Let's set up a specific house as a brewer, shall we? I like to put the brewer right next to the tavern, because it makes sense to me. So maybe... I don't want more than one brewer, though. That keeps giving me the... well, I don't need to extend it. Maybe I'll make it really weird shaped. I mean, we don't have to do work in rectangles if we don't want, right? There we go. Very weird brewer. Well, let me click. There we go. No, actually, that's a lot of real estate. I'm going to regret that in the long run. I kind of wish you could drag the plot points after the fact. That would make life a little bit easier. Or you know what I could do? I could have the brewer... yeah, this is what I'll do. I'll have the brewer behind the church. We'll pretend he's like a Trappist monk making Trappist beer or something like that. So there, that will be my brewer there. I'm going to need to ramp fuel back up. I'm going to move the woodcutter to just be physically closer to trees because I've been clear cutting this area. So the logging camp, I'm going to tell logging camp to clear these trees. And then once we move the woodcutter's lodge, I'll have them clear the trees closest to them. Is Spearman meta? Spearman is just what you start off with, so I wouldn't necessarily say it's meta. It's just a lot... Spearmen don't have hard counters, I'll put it that way. Whereas bowmen have hard counters. Spearmen have big shields, so they're good against bowmen. And they're not maybe good against, like, heavy armor, but there isn't a lot of heavy armor units that you're going to have to fight. So with the clay mining pit getting clay, we're going to need to turn that clay into roofing tiles. So I'm going to get a clay furnace, put it here. That way we can start making clay tiles for the church roof. Eight months of food, 7 of fuel. Not bad. So we managed to sow 100% of the barley, which yields 68 barley, and then we sowed 100% of the wheat, which yields 80 wheat. Good. And now it's growing at about the same. Barley is slightly ahead of the wheat, but not bad. Should be a good harvest. Should be a real good harvest. We are going to break some bread. Okay, the clay furnace is done. So, oh, I don't have the workforce for that. Once someone immigrates, I'll put someone working in the clay furnace. That means we need more houses for immigrants. So I am raising the priority of these plots. There we go. Now we have room for at least one. Approval's pretty good. Another thing that I'll make at some point is the manor, right? I'm a Manor Lord, so gotta have my manor. I don't think it's probably worth the financial investment right now, but it will be soon. So these new plots, let's go with eggs. And then this one I'm going to leave blank, because this one is eventually going to become the brewer once I have malt to brew. Okay, how many spears do I have? Because I have 46 spears, 43 shields. So, blacksmith. Switch back over to tools. Because I have 17 tools, and I could definitely get my tools up a little bit more. Now, if you're wondering, there is a specialized smithy, which makes tools, but because my blacksmith can do it too, I don't really need a smithy. In fact, it would be a bit of my disadvantage, because if I built a smithy, my blacksmith then would be idle, and then I would have 2 families employed and 1 working, whereas if I switch my blacksmith from spears to tools, I don't have anyone unemployed. Ro, thank you for the resub. Alright, I meant to change the work area here. There. My fuel's a little low, so maybe the next person that immigrates will become a woodchopper. And that literally just happened. One first poll for you guys. What territory to annex? So we have got Goldhof to the north, which is for clay and hunting. I'm going to specify what its rich resources are. There is Zwow. I'm sorry, I don't really know, like, Franconian. So I'm not even going to try. But this is for hunting and clay as well. Einhanhau, which would be for berries to our east. Eichenhau, sorry. I do whatever. I'm not even... forget it. For berries... I don't even know what that says, because some of the letters are covered up. Immenreuth. Let's go with, and that's for hunting. Then Nussel something or another. Nusslo, hey, and that is for clay. If I could type. And berries. Is there really no deep? Wow. Okay, so the 2 rich iron deposits are in the other Baron's territory. Got it. Got it. I was like, is that for real? All right. There you go. There's the poll. I'll give you 5 minutes. So I'm upgrading this plot to level 2, because you have to be at least a level 2 plot to become a brewer. Luckily, it was well supplied with everything it needed to become a level 2 instantly, which is kind of nice. What's the difference between a level 1 and level 2? So level 1s only have access to vegetable farms, chickens, goats, or apple orchards, and level 2 can be craftspeople. So I'll show you that in just a second. So here is the level 1s, and then level 2s can start to specialize. So I could make a cobbler to make shoes, or a bowyer to make war bows, or a tailor to make clothes, so on and so forth. And soon I'm going to have you guys decide on what clothing I should supply, because in order to get a level 3, I need to supply an advanced clothing. So either shoes, clothes, or cloaks. And you guys will be able to pick which of those 3, because I don't need all 3 necessarily. So that will be a follow-up poll after this one. Wow, that dark blue text is very hard to read with the vote timer. But needless to say, the vote timer's over. So it looks like Goldhoff is what we'll go for first. What advanced clothing to go for? Shoes. So shoes, I might get this wrong, but I believe shoes is just leather. And then clothing is linen, and cloaks are linen and dyes. Dyes are made with berries. I might have that backwards. I wonder if I can look it up. Just to make sure I have it right. This is not helpful. Resources, a dead body. I don't know if that's a resource, but not to you. If only this was like... Oh, here's clothes. So clothes is linen and dyes. Got it. So dyes require berries. Shoes is just straight up leather, like I said. So shoes are probably pretty easy. And then cloaks are yarn and dyes. Yarn would be sheep. So shoes I could make now. Cloaks or clothes would require a little bit more setup. So shoes, cloaks, or clothes. There's that follow-up poll. Be very impossible to read follow-up poll. Now, you guys did want me to get, once I start annexing other territories, I can import those resources into my home territory and bolster the production of berries and the like to be able to make dyes. So we have 23 out of 24, so we're almost maxed housing now. This Trekking Life, how's it trekking, buddy? And thanks for the gifted sub. Alright, we are going to have our first side street here. Ooh, fancy. I have 17 timber? Yeah, that's enough. Alright, we're not going to have any housing problem for a bit. That was a lot of houses. Slam! Order secured. Yeah, we want our townspeople to get a hookworm, right? Shoes are necessary. Bandits! Well, unlucky for the bandits, I have a full complement of spearmen. So where are these bandits? To my southeast. Wow. The other two barons have no hope of beating me there because the bandits are so far away from their home. That is not necessarily true, actually. It's worth me noting that when you hire mercenaries, they arrive in different locations. So the Wayward Sons arrive in Zwau or whatever, which is here. One arrives in Yodaville, and then one arrives in Goldhoff. So it's possible that, like, if there was a bandit party that arrived in Emerauth or whatever it's called, they might be closer. But it's pretty infrequent that like enemy barons will outbeat you to it as long as you hustle. So here we go, our full complement of spear militia. And you guys want me to make some shoes. Gotta have shoes. Okay. So let's go ahead and have this plot be our cobbler. So I'm going to get rid of the carrot farm and have them be a cobbler's workshop. So we have these 4 are specializing. Hunker places just to rename them? Yeah, more or less. And once I beat these bandits, I will have the influence to actually annex Goldhof. Okay, you can just stand at the edge of the... Actually, let's go spread real thin, because they don't have a lot of numbers, so it's going to be really easy to surround them and just murder them. Prepare to get wrecked. In fact, let's push forward. Let's be very aggressive in this fight with my spearman party. Y'all are outnumbered like 2-to-1 here. So you are so dead. Their fighting objectives is higher, but they're just dramatically outnumbered. It's not going to end well for them. Like, look at this poor guy. You got 3 people trying to poke you full of holes, man. You ain't going to last very long. And they're running. That didn't take very long. Now I have 1.3k influence. So, Goldhof, you are going to be claimed. It is possible that enemy barons challenge my claims and I go to war as a result. Not super likely really early on in game, however. Later on, that might be more frequent when they're, like, wealthier, but all of their wealth and progress is all, like, invisible to you. So I'm going to send it to my own treasury this time. And the reason I'm sending it to my own treasury is, if I ever need to hire mercenaries to come to my defense, it's really nice to have a bit of a royal treasury to be able to hire those. Because, you know, you never know when they, when you're going to need a little extra oomph in your military. Okay, you're in our territory. You can only disband in we territory. So as soon as we crossed over, I told them to go poof. We are starting to get wheat. Nice. And we now have a cobbler shop. So the cobbler is taking, is going to take leather and turn it into shoes, which will fulfill our need for tier 2 clothing. So now we just need to do the church level, which we are currently working on. I need some more ceiling tiles or roof tiles, and then supplying the tavern with beer. So let me update the priority. Become a small town with tavern and shoes. Oh yes. What's the thumbs down? So there is a house that is not being supplied. This house doesn't have fuel, essentially. So they're complaining because the minimum requirements for a tier 2 burgage is not being met. It's not to say that it will really hurt my approval rating, because it's one house out of like 30. 20, yeah, actually 31. have a lot of vegetables, so all these new houses are going to be vegetable garden houses. Because right now I'm sitting on 70 eggs and 23 apples, and Goldhof is ours. We have annexed it. Boxing in them in the corner. Now, the advantage of this, there was, so I know you guys voted for it, but there was a bit of a strategic advantage to getting Goldhof and Nussello. Bandit camps won't spawn in territories that are owned. So now, bandit camps can't spawn in Goldhof. And if the reason that's strategic is if bandit camps spawn in Goldhof, the other two barons would be pretty close to it with their own armies, right? But now that I have Goldhof, the bandits will spawn elsewhere, meaning that the likelihood that the other barons are closer is lower, significantly lower as a result. That would be the real advantage to take specific territories that neighbor your future enemies. All right, let's start grinding that grain. And we're starting to collect barley. So with the barley being collected, we're going to need to make a hop house, or a malt house rather. I'll stick the malt house here to turn the barley into malt, and then the malt into beer. So I'm going to do a brewery extension for this house, so they become our brewers. I need to free up some labor, though. There we go. Stormy. Alright, I have a lot of planks. I could probably fire my saw pit people for like a while. And let's start ramping up the clay furnace so we can get a tier 2 church. My fuel, I could use more fuel. And I'm going to put one more person in the large storehouse because the fuel, Woodcutter's Lodge, looks about full. So having more people running the logistics of moving gear around will help. Or items around it, stuff. I do believe that there are some houses now with... Does anyone have shoes? No, maybe not. Not yet. No, actually, yeah. These houses here have shoes. So as you can see, their clothing stall supply has been met for tier 2. So as soon as I meet the church and the tavern, these guys can go up to tier 3. Which is fantastic. Why is there a crown on some resources? So the crown on the resources means it's a deeper supply. So like, the amount of stone that I have is 916 stone versus the 100 that I have in Goldhof because it's not a deep supply. So there's 1570 clay here, and in my home there is 7 clay left. I'm basically out of clay. So the rich deposits can also be exploited even further if you get deep mining. But I did mention before, earlier in the stream, you generally win your scenario well before you ever need deep mining, because the game, unless you're playing... You have an option whenever you beat the scenario to continue playing, but without goals, so you could of course do that, but I will say, generally, you don't need deep mining. Not yet, at least. So this clay deposit is tapped? Not yet. Now it's tapped. Let's get rid of it. Actually, I'm not going to get rid of it. I'm just going to fire the people in it. If I destroy the building, the clay that's inside will be subjected to weather and possibly... I mean, clay doesn't rot, but you know, I'm going to say rot because that's how the game considers it. 2 more houses under construction. But yeah, it's really... I like clustering the orchards together because it looks pretty, as you can see. Like clustering alike facilities together. Just looks aesthetically pleasing to me. So, you know, we have our production facilities, and then the carrot farms, and the chicken farms, the apple orchards. The malt house is now done. So let's get malting. So we have wheat and barley. And I don't have any flour yet, which is surprising. The people working in the windmill have not been doing much, apparently. But once we have some flour, we can start baking into bread. So I have 4 malt, and is there people living here? Yes. And these guys are now a brewer family, so they're making beer. So very soon, in the commodities up there, we should see ale, and as soon as I start getting ale, I'll open up the tavern and supply the tavern supply. I probably actually don't want to open up the tavern for tavern supply because your ale gets drunk real quick. So I want to wait until the church is level 2. Because if I do it the other way around and open up the tavern early, they're all going to get drunk and deplete my ale supply, and then I'll eventually get the church to level 2, but then everyone will have already drank the beer. So it's better to get the church first. So here we go. Church time. Because I have all the supplies for it. I have 20 spare roof tiles. Oh, also, I have a lot of tools now. So blacksmith, stop making tools. Would it make sense to make homes with the extra home? I talked about that at the start of the stream, kind of in depth. So that will be on YouTube for you if you want the in-depth answer. But the TLDR is no. It's not worth it in almost any circumstance, in my opinion. Because you're essentially judged on how many homes you have, how many distinct homes you have. So when you cluster them together like that, you lose out in the whole growing your village to X. Alright, I think at this point, the logging camp is out of stuff to log in this area. So let's redefine the work area over here. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to steer them away from cutting any trees near the berries or near the wild animals. So I'm driving them to other spots. It also would make sense at this point to have a forester, because at some point I'm going to run out of trees that are close by, so replanting them is pretty logical. Okay, we have 6 ale. Nice. And the church is coming together. We only have 1 empty house because people immigrate so quickly because my approval rating is, like, awesome. Pantry is full. That's a really weird warning pop-up. It's like, this house's pantry is full. Why are you warning me? That's a good thing. They have lots of food. Like, okay. I guess it's a warning because it's what it's essentially saying is I need to hire another, like, granary worker to help move the eggs out of there. But it's just like, good, I guess. Like, I want a lot of people to have food. There was also like a, it's like a tooltip bug as far as I'm concerned. Your saw pit, if you're wondering, can only ever hold 1 log, so you could cut it into planks, but then it throws an error saying that its generic storage is full. It's like, yeah, because you can only store 1 log, so as soon as you drag 1 log in for sawing, it's full and throws this like error message. So, in effect, you tend to just perpetually ignore those error messages because they stop meaning anything very, very quickly because they pop up when they probably shouldn't. All right, I still have clay to process into roof tiles and iron ore to process into slabs. This mining pit, I think, is... Oh, 3 iron left, so I'm about to shutter my own iron pit too. Everyone working in the forager can stop, and I'll move them in the farmhouse. Oh boy. Let's go ahead and ban the spammer. Bye-bye. Okay, mining pit is gone. For the same reason, I'm not going to just... Well, there's actually 1 iron ore in there. That's not a big deal, so I'll break that down. And I am going to get rid of the road because it's ugly. There, road's gone. This clay pit, actually, they hauled everything out of it too. So I'm going to get rid of that because it's now pristine woods. It just looks nicer. The people that I just fired, I can hire as foresters once the forester's built. And the church is done. So as you can see, the church is bigger and looks nicer, I suppose. But that means that we are ready to employ Tavern Keep so that we can level up to level 3. So as soon as any of these houses get their tavern supply, I want to level them up. So I was saying really early in the stream about some UI UX issues that I have with the game. So one is like, it's really easy to lose buildings, right? Like if I'm going, where's my tannery? I have to remember it. There's not like a really good way to figure that out. I mean, in this case, I know it's here, but there's no overlay option to be like, tannery's here, or, you know, your brickworks is there, you know, stuff like that. The other thing is, for me to check whether or not these houses are eligible to level up, I kind of have to click them individually. There's not like a level up arrow. So I get from an aesthetic standpoint, they didn't want to provide too much additional overlay information so the game's pretty, but it makes it hard to play. Where like, I'm looking for level 2 shops, or level 2 houses that can become level 3 houses, and functionally the only way for me to do that is to click all of them. And I don't think that that's fun UX, fun user experience. We also only have 68, well, it was 69, 68 days until the raiders come. But I'm not too worried about that. The other thing I could do is I have 62 the correct age males. Maybe I'll work on... Oh, here we go. A blacksmith to level 3. Needs a button you can hold like war to Total War to show the details about the units. Yeah, like holding left alt or something like that. It'd be very easy to do to give you a little bit of an overlay, additional information. Because otherwise it's like a click and hunt and peck situation, which very much sucks. It's a very bad UX. But all right, I just got a bunch of plots to level 3. And as you'll see, my ale will disappear overnight. But that's enough. I only need to level 3 of them to level 3, and I think I just did 5 or 6. But once the joiner... Actually, I'm going to unpause the joiner and the blacksmith so that I can start working on a second spear squad. The manor house is used to enact policies and collect taxes. Neither of which are really fully implemented yet, so I'll build it once I get the small town going, just to demonstrate it. I also think that your manor is supposed to be your power, like, because you're able to build like towers and gates and things, but it's still really early on in development, so it doesn't really function all that well. Wow, approval. Oh, that's because I just opened the bar and everyone's a lush. They're all drunk now. But here we go. We're starting to get our level 3 houses. So here's a Burgage 3. As you can see, definitely bigger, grander.
Leather.
And once we have enough of those, we advance. Yeah, tab's kind of nice, but it's just not the kind of detail I'm looking for. I agree. The tab just kind of shows you, hey, there's like someone living in here. It's just not enough information that is actionable. So all of the barley and wheat have been processed into flour. Oh, no, I still have a little bit more grain to go in the windmill. We're very low on hides, so I might want more goat farmhouses. And we've processed all the clay that we have, so I no longer need a clay furnace open because there's no clay to do anything to. Got it. The forester is okay. It should be built any second now. This building has no road access? True. I did destroy that road. There it goes. Malt House is back in business. Come on, Forester. I think all my buildings are building the houses. So now that we have level 3, as you can see, the food supply needs even more types of food to be fully met. But there's not a tier 4, so like, as long as you don't care about the approval rating, not supplying that food is not a big deal. The other thing is if you supply heavier armors, you can start to build up a retinue army, which we'll get into in a minute. And there it is. We are a small town. Let's see. I will say trapping. Just because your supply of meat is very limited to how many wild animals you have on the map tile, and food variety is kind of important, so having a passive income of meat is nice. So the next big tier is to get medium town at 10 level 3 plots, which is not hard to do. But the current priority right now is going to be to build a manor. So you can build the manor. Each region needs a manor. So at some point I'll probably settle Goldhof, especially when I start to need the iron deposits and clay deposits that ran out on my home tile to export them over to Yodaville. But each region needs its own manor. And the way this works is I don't have enough goods. I'm missing 1 plank. Okay, that's just like insulting. But okay, there. Hiring 2 plank workers. I'm glad I remembered to switch the blacksmith over from tools to spears, because I have 68 tools. I don't need more. Alright, Forester's Hut. I actually don't want you working just anywhere. I want you reforesting this area. There we go. And I have no one working in there yet. Okay, I have the planks for a basic manor. So there's a lot of ways to custom design your manor. Maybe I'll put my manor on a hill. Yeah, I'll put my manor on the hill towards Goldhof. Why not? It doesn't matter. So in your manor home, you can build walls and gates. So they will snap here. If you cross a road, it will be a gate. All of this is more or less aesthetics, I hate to say. So it allows you to build like outer towers and the like, but Raider, I've just never used them for defenses. It's like you'd imagine, oh, like I'll build a tower and it will be a defensive building. I think that's the eventual intention, but for now, none of these extra things really matter at all. Unless I've never actually tried to fully circumnavigate my entire territory with walls, just because the amount of planks it takes is like ridiculous. I don't know if it's effective, but you can try for yourself once the game releases. So I'm just going to build a basic manor with nothing attached, because none of the outbuildings provide measurable benefits. All it does is counteract the lack of administrative buildings for public order, but I don't think public order is really a thing anyway. So And if it is, and it creates more bandits, and I'm wrong about that, more bandits is probably a good thing, because that just raises your influence. Are there supply in... So there is, Kilodrix, there is trade between regions through pack animals. So if you set up a pack station, you can exchange resources with other territories that you own. And then currently the trading post, I'll eventually build one, but the trading post is very simple, where you just pay an upfront regional cost to run a trade for specific resources. And once, I'll eventually get to that. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. It's giving me the warning that generic storage is full because the saw pit has one log to be sawed. It's like, okay, not useful, but thanks. Thank you for tuning in to Manor Lords, which originally streamed live on Twitch April 16th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. Hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Manor Lords.